It's time for the Hockey Writers Grindline, a weekly show covering everything Detroit Red Wings. Brought to you by our own iconic top line of Wings writers. Sit back and enjoy The Grind.
Welcome to the Hockey Writers Grindline. I'm your host, Patrick Brown, and back this week, my line mate, Devin Little. Devin, how you doing?
It's good to be back, Pat. Good to see you.
It's great to have you back, that's for sure. Wasn't the same without you. And our other line mate, Kyle Knopp, is still away with an undisclosed absence. So we are thrilled to be welcoming back, first of all, for the second week in a row, our good friend and editor of Octopus Thrower, Nate Brown. Nate, how you doing tonight?
I'm very good. Glad to see everyone's wearing a hat. We've performed a hat trick here. Hey,
you know,
and fries all around.
You know, I've had that joke ready for 10 minutes. I'm pretty upset that you just took it. But
remember, oldest sibling is always the best sibling.
We're off the rail. We are off the rails, and we haven't even introduced Matthew yet. Also joining us, rounding out the hat trick, our good friend, our producer, Hockey Writers, Canucks credentialed reporter and prospect guru, Matthew Zator. Matthew, how are you doing? Thanks for joining.
Doing good. This was on Howlers and Growlers, so I'm back again.
I know. Are you sick of me yet? You got to be getting sick of me. So just think of my poor wife who has to live with me. Love you, honey. All right. Well, let's talk some hockey. We've got a lot to talk about, gentlemen, and we're going to start off with an oldie but a goodie, one good, one bad, and seeing how we have 4 total on this. I'm going to keep mine brief, but really quick. My good, Moritz Seider, Rookie of the Month. And I have to think, even though we don't see voting, Lucas Raymond had to have been right behind him. And my bad is, let's talk about the special teams, because they have a 15% power play and a 70% penalty kill. So that's my good and my bad. Now I will defer to our guests. Matthew, we'll start with you. One good, one bad from the week that was for the Red Wings.
Well, my good is Lucas Raymond. He scored again, even though it was the only goal in the game. But
it's a beauty.
He just keeps racking up the points, and probably one of the with side, or probably one of the with the Calder Trophy kind of early talk about it. So, and my bad is that Red Wings had no shots in the last 2 games. I mean, they're not getting many shots; they're getting a lot of shots against as well. So. No, and that's not a good recipe for winning. So that's why they lost those 2 games. So that's my bad for that one.
That just feels all too familiar if you look at how things have trended in recent years. So, Nate, your good, your bad for the week that was.
My good is that Suter gets a chance at the first line tomorrow, because I think that might help him a little bit. The bad, well, we were all really excited that first week, and I think it was more of this might not be business as usual. And unfortunately, I think it's regressing to the mean, which actually I think we've discussed at one point, or you guys have discussed. Now I'm like squatters'
all a
rights
blur.
now.
It's all a blur.
You can't leave. Yeah. I would say definitely just it's back. You said the stats, Pat.
Yep.
Or that. So I mean that's really kind of the
yeah, and
he'll turn around eventually.
And I've got some thoughts about the start to the season as well, which I'll share right after Devin shares. Welcome back. One good, one bad from the week that was.
Well, the good, I'm going to rewind the clocks back here a week for the good and bad. The good, I have to highlight that 40 seconds of mayhem in the Red Wings defensive zone in that Florida game I happened to attend. I said before the show, that was my 3rd time seeing the Red Wings play at Little Caesars Arena, and that was hands down the loudest I've ever heard that building. So that when they eventually tied that game up with a Suter, not Seider's goal,
thank you.
The roof fell off. Like that was so much fun to see. Obviously, you would have liked to have seen a win, but that felt to steal your phrase, Pat. If you're into that sort of thing, it felt like a moral victory. That was a fun game to be a part of. Honestly, the thing that I thought of in the moment was, that scene in Miracle towards the end when the Americans have the lead and they're kind of winding down the clock. And then I don't remember who it is on the bench. They just start pounding it. And they're like, yeah. Like that is how you're feeling watching Fabry and Ernie just block shot after shot, and Nedeljkovic make that crazy save. Buchergras going, "What is happening?" That was fun, man. It's been so long since I've seen live hockey. Now, bad news. Still kind of rewinding the clock back. You guys had a lot of fun last week because the Wings were like winning. Things were good. The vibes were doing real good, feeling great. Talking about, are the Red Wings good for real? And here we are now tonight. And I don't think they're good because all those good vibes are gone. I don't think they're as bad as they've looked this week.
Agreed.
But holy cow, things have not, we're beating a dead horse at this point. Things are not looking good this week.
Well, if we can get a miracle excitement cheer out of you every week, that would be one good every week, because holy cow, that was very excitable and I enjoyed it. So good stuff. We're gonna transition right into something we all kind of talked about already, which is the Red Wings at this point of taping. They have lost 4 straight games. They have 1 goal in their last 2 games. They've lost to the Canadians, what, combined 11-1, I believe, something like that. And something that kind of blows my mind right now, and I got my stats over here. 2019-2020 season, the Red Wings started 3-1-0, lost 8 straight. 2020-2021 last year, they started 2-2, lost 8 straight. This season started 4-2-1, and they've lost 4 straight. So what's going to happen? Are they going to avoid that big losing streak? They're already halfway home. But that has been devastating. If they hadn't gone through those 8 games last year, we're looking at a much more competitive team because they've really finished the season strong. I don't know if we want to see a competitive team or if we want to see a higher draft pick, but you can't go on these extended slides. And that's kind of exactly the hole they're falling into again. So, gentlemen, I ask you this. What is up with the Red Wings? And we're going to start with Nate this time. Nate, what is going on with this team? It seems so promising.
First, I'd like to say it was pretty cool to see Mort Sider over there. Yes, and we were talking about this too. Dylan is Dylan. I'm done. Devin. I had Dylan Larkin on the brain.
Dylan on the brain.
Yeah, Dylan on the brain. Devin, sorry, guys. I didn't take my meds for ADHD. Devin is channeling his inner Mort Sider, especially with the hair and the hat.
Love
it. And then he did a full Jack O'Callahan, which was even better. So you brought it all together. It's fantastic. What's wrong with them? I think you have a lack of cohesiveness right now. You lost Bertuzzi for 2 games. You've lost Larkin for 2 games. Those are 2 of your top line guys. And I believe they combined for, I think Larkin has 8 points, if not 7. I think Bertuzzi had 9, had 17 points off the board. And in addition to that, I think it's 8 goals. After that, your production has been nil from that line down. That's why, again, I'm excited to kind of see Suter and see what he can do, because my research from the week was tracking Michael Rasmussen in the last game, because people were just railing on him on Twitter. And like the eye test, he did not look good. I think that's kind of speaks to it. You're putting Rasmussen on the top line. He's not a top line center yet. No. I don't know if he ever will be. At 9th, you hope he would be, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I think they've basically, the ship's been kind of sinking a little bit. And I think Blashill's been trying to plug the holes where he can. And I just think there's a lack of cohesiveness. I will also say they are regressing to that mean. And they're coming down from that high that they had with Raymond and Sider going nuts and Larkin having Bertuzzi scoring 4 goals. I mean, it's an anomaly. We know that. But it was so great to finally see that, maybe they're turning a corner. Okay, again, temper the expectations. Yeah. But I don't think it's like a panic moment. But it is interesting because another topic on Twitter that has been going around is Blashill in trouble?
Yep.
And that's a
well, stick around. We may talk about that in a little bit.
So, but that's what I got.
I like it.
Names right.
I'm jealous of Devin. I think the closest that I could get to a miracle comparison would be maybe my eyebrows rival the Russian coaches, perhaps. But beyond that, I don't think I'll ever get a miracle reference. So, Devin, I'm jealous. Matthew, your take on the Red Wings. They started off pretty darn well, and it's all been downhill for the last week plus. What's going on with them?
Yeah, like you said, the start was so good, and you're riding the high of the rookies going crazy and scoring, and like Nate said, you're losing Bertuzzi, and you're gonna lose them every time they go to Canada, and it's hard when you're trying to get that cohesion on the top line. That I believe it was you, Devin, that wrote an article on them being kind of a perfection line type line, but how are they going to do it when they're not together all the time? So you can't build that over time. I think that's the biggest thing, is that cohesion and consistency. And then, no one's scoring, which is another big thing. Beyond that, there's no one else that's producing. So
no one's shooting.
Having 15 shots in one game and 20 in another, you're not going to do much with that. So I think that's just the biggest thing. You need to get some consistency, and how are you going to do that when Bertuzzi goes out every time you go across the border? So.
Hosting Howlers and Growlers and being credentialed for the Coyotes, the Red Wings are supposed to be my yin for the Coyotes yang this year. It is not balancing out that way thus far. Devin, bring us home on this. What's up with the Wings?
A couple things come to mind, honestly. You guys hit on it last week. There's some smoke and mirrors, so to speak, going on in the start. Obviously it's fun to watch them win, but no one expected this team to be a legitimate playoff contender. So what we're seeing now is them kind of regressing to that mean, going back to what we're maybe not as bad as what we're thinking, but it's the team that we saw in the first couple of weeks is not who we expected to see. And now we're starting to see them start to lose these games. And that's, The second thing, Matt hit on at least part of it. You don't have Bertuzzi in Canada, and they played in Toronto and Montreal this week. They've got games coming up the rest of the season too. And also Larkin's been gone. I'm pretty sure Nate mentioned that too. You're missing, it's one thing to miss one of your top players, but when you're missing two of your top players and one of them being your top center and your captain, this team has a lot of good players, but they don't have the depth that can cover for that. This is not the Tampa Bay Lightning that can lose Nikita Kucherov for the whole season and still make the playoffs.
Yep, absolutely. And jury's still out, but you talk about missing Jacob Vrana as well, who would be making such an impact and just provide an extra element of depth that Devin, like you just pointed out, they don't have. They don't have that element of depth right now. And he would be another person. We're assuming we've got a very small sample size on him, but we're assuming the things that he could do would at the very least be comparable to what Anthony Mantha is capable of. And neither are present. The Red Wings are lacking that additional person that they even had last year at this time. So all good stuff. Super good. Appreciate the perspective. And I think the moral of the story is don't panic. This is pretty much expected. And we'll probably see some 500 hockey from here on out if I were a betting man, which I am. All right. Last topic before we pay some bills here. And Rachel is going to be very happy with me right now because Pius Suter, said the name right, 1 for 1. He's been disappointing, arguably disappointing. I'm not sure what everybody expected out of him, but I know I was happy as a clam when I saw the Red Wings pick him up. And we're looking at 2 points in 11 games right now, 1 goal, 1 assist. Is there cause for concern there? Is there anything that we need to worry about? And oh, by the way, breaking news, he will be centering the first line, as Nate mentioned in his 1 good, 1 bad in the Wings next game. So keep that in mind and keep your eye on that. Devin, haven't started with you yet. So your thoughts on Suter to this point in the season?
So obviously going into this season, you hope that he would come off and, start on fire. Right.
Yep.
But you also, this tends to happen with new players, right? He's playing, he came off of a team. We talked about this before we started recording. He came off a team where he was playing alongside guys like Alex DeBrincat and Patrick Kane. Now he spent the majority of his time alongside Robbie Fabry and Philip Zadina. No offense to those guys, but they're not Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat.
Yeah.
I don't care how good Suter is. You're not going to produce the same as you did when you're playing with those other guys.
Yep.
And that's not to mention, and that's not also not factoring the fact that he's playing with a new team and he's still learning the systems. He's still learning what Jeff Blashill expects. He's still, there's a new goalie in that he has to learn too, let alone that. There's a lot. It's too soon to hit the panic button on him. But I would like to see more. It was cool to see his first goal this past week. And I kind of hoped that would have kind of opened up the floodgates a little bit for him. Hasn't happened yet. But I do think he's somebody that's doing a lot of the little things well. I don't think he's been bad per se. He's just not finding a way to get the puck in the net. I think as long as he, keeps doing the more good than bad, good luck will come his way.
Yep.
He's just got to find his footing.
Absolutely. Maybe a little snake bitten for sure. Matthew, tossing it over to you. Your thoughts on Suter, especially, what were you thinking? What were you expecting out of him? Seeing him join the Red Wings and what's going on right now?
Well, I was one of the guys that was excited for the Red Wings to pick him up because there was talk before the Canucks were looking at him as well. And this guy has a ton of skill and he's still really young. And like Devin hit on all that, he's still trying to find his footing in the NHL in general.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a guy that's been in the league for like 10 years. This is still a new guy. So, I mean, there's a bit of that as well. Young guy still trying, and, his first season was really good. And there's expectations, even though it may not be from, someone outside, but on himself. He's looking at it. Why am I not doing the same thing I did in my rookie season I'm doing now? So there's a lot of growing pains, I think, going on with him, but I think he's got enough skill to push through it and be able to bounce back and actually make a difference on the wings. Again, this team's not a ridiculously good team either. Like, he doesn't have the same skill around him, but I think he still has enough to be able to work through it and still become an impact player in the future.
Completely agree with everything you just said there, to be honest. Nate, bring us home, especially you mentioned it in your one good, one bad, and you said it was good that Suter's moving up to center of the first line. So what say you?
I was looking at some stats and we were talking about this pre-taping, and Blashill, I mean, there's a slight difference with his defensive zone starts where, I mean, it's like 2.3%. So you can't blame it on that. It's not like Blashill's asking him to do more defensively.
Yeah.
All of his rates per 60 are down significantly, and he's already a fifth of the way to what he played last season. So is it troublesome? I don't think so. Like, okay, I'm in the middle on this. Like I for $3.25 million and to be our second center, yes, I would like to see more production. To what Devin said, not Dylan, what Devin said is exactly right. You're flanked by Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat, which, by the way, DeBrincat, come back. We know you're a Detroit guy. Come back. Just demand a trade. Come
Not
back.
asking too much.
Maybe you can do it. You've now given him an opportunity, and that is not a slam on Zadina, who I think is in his head at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, the other night he was shooting into crowds. He doesn't he just doesn't.
Sure was.
That. He just shot block. And Robbie
Fulton Reed over here. Anyway,
1 out of 5. Not a 5. Fabry hit the post yesterday, and I think that post rang for like 25 minutes afterwards. And so you now give him the opportunity to be with Bertuzzi and with Raymond. And Raymond is the little engine that could on this team, who the maturation of his game, his age is insane. And to go back when I got into hockey because of our Uncle Jim, who was a fanatic. And I remember when I was 6 years old, we were watching a game and he said, watch Yzerman, watch how good he is, watch how he sees the game. We haven't seen this in a long time. I think that's how I feel about Lucas Raymond.
Yeah.
Any guy who's struggling, put him on his line. Just to even give just like a jolt of confidence.
Sure.
I think Suter will get that. If it translates, I don't know. But again, you're not dealing with the same talent that you had in Chicago. So I think that's a big part of it.
Really quick, I just want to throw this out there too. Depending on how he does on this top line with Bertuzzi and Raymond, I'm starting to think that they need to experiment with him on the wing. His faceoff percentage is not great right now. Obviously, you want your centers to win faceoffs. And also, when you're playing down the middle, you're supposed to be, you're playing a two-way game at that point. You're supposed to be getting back on defense and all that good stuff. Let the guy play on the wing and let him focus on getting some points and get that confidence going. You can always put him back in the center once he gets that mojo going. But I think that, like I said, depending on how this experiment goes with Bertuzzi and Raymond, I think it might be time to see, put a guy like Veleno down the middle and maybe put Suter on his wing.
Sure. Yeah. And the Red Wings overall been doing okay in the dot. I've been happy with their faceoffs most of the time, but yeah, Suter has not been succeeding. So
the team can win faceoffs without Luke Glendening. What?
Absolutely stunning. I know.
Can backhand a goal like Luke Glendening.
All right, good stuff. We're going to take a quick time out. Thank you for watching our show. Give us a like, subscribe to the Hockey Writers channel. We have so much good stuff on here. We've got Blackhawks banter, Sabres, Scoop, Chicks and Sticks, Howlers and Growlers, Prospects Corner, right, Matthew? Prospects Corner. Yes. So much good stuff. Follow us on Twitter. Sign up for the morning newsletter. We're on Spotify. We're on iHeartRadio. And if you want us to leave Zator and Raymond scouting reports cryogenically frozen next to Walt Disney so that in the future your great grandkids can watch a reboot of Cinderella while learning about some of the greatest Red Wings ever. Well, we probably can't do that, but we'll try. So I'm really stretching now, guys, but it's going to keep happening every week.
The year is 2023. Pat is completely out of ideas.
In the year 2000. Somebody else getting the Conan reference.
Well, let's just not talk about. Hopefully, no one has Duchovny, or we're all in trouble.
We'll stay away from Duchovny and Bears on this show and leave it at that. All right, our bills are paid. Our producer's on the show, so we know we've got another week to record. So life is good. So let's bring this home, gentlemen, with some viewer comments, and we're gonna start with Katz Kulo Jackson, who. Nate, we want to start with you on this one. Katz Kulo Jackson made a Simon Edvinsson, Bobby Orr comparison. And really quick, Edvinsson, 9 points in 16 games with Frölunda so far in the SHL as an 18-year-old kid. That's phenomenal for a defenseman. So let's talk about that for a minute. Do we see an Edvinsson Orr comparison? Nate, we'll start with you.
Well, I mean, I have to do it now. Channeling, we brought props this week. Edvinsson. Interesting. Do it, guys. Do it.
That was well done. It was well done.
I don't think I got the snark down though, like Eiserman.
Well, I don't think anybody can get the snark down. That's an Eiserman thing.
I really want to know what he said after that call hung up. How did he know? How did he know?
Yeah, right.
He's good.
Yeah.
He sent the flying monkeys out of LCA to go get.
Was that Ansar? That was Ansar, right?
Yeah, because I made a reference on one of the shows where you got conned on that one.
Oh, nice. Anyways,
Edvinsson. I think it's a little early to be comparing him to Bobby Orr. I don't mean any disrespect. I love the reference. In fact, I would like if it was a Nick Lidstrom or a Bobby Orr comparison. I think the exciting part about Simon Edvinsson is if this is what we're seeing already and this stands up, I know you guys talked specifically about how Eiserman was swinging for the fences when he made that pick. And there were people kind of like, really? Like you had all these forwards. Well, yeah, rewind 2 years ago.
Yep.
And the same conversation was had. Nobody's making that conversation anymore.
Right.
Imagine a blue line with Edvinsson and Zator on it, or you're able to buffer two pairings, one with Zator, one with Edvinsson, which essentially, if as good as advertised, is interchangeable. I mean, you can just, I can't think about it because I don't want to jinx it, basically, is where I'm at. But you have Hansen, you have McIsaac, who's actually doing well. You have Sabrango. I mean, you have there's a lot of excitement for the blue line. So not only Edvinsson, I love the comparison. I don't know if you can do it yet, but he's doing well in the man's league.
Yep.
And if that transfers over, and we saw it did with Zator.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the one thing is, have you guys heard anything about him? I know he got hurt. I think he was concussed in the game. I haven't seen any updates. They said he was fine.
Yeah, I have not seen that
precautionary,
report. If he is, I have not seen that report. But no, good stuff. Really good stuff. All right, Devin, your thoughts on Edvinsson or comparison?
Yeah, I think it's too soon to be making comparisons like that. I don't care what the prospect is. Even when like Connor McDavid was coming in, I don't like comparing him to like Wayne Gretzky, because it's like, if he falls just an inch short of that, he's a bust. Like, so I don't like that. Do I think he's a damn good prospect? Absolutely. And like Nate said, I think that, the imagination starts to wander when you think about where this team could be in 2 or 3 years with Edvinsson and Zator on that blue line. So do I think that Edvinsson has a very bright future in front of him? Absolutely. Do I think that we should be throwing out names like Bobby Orr and Nick Lidstrom and guys like that? Probably not.
Matthew, you get the final word on this one. Edvinsson or, yeah?
It's too early. It's too early to be comparing that. I mean, Bobby Orr was a one of a kind generational defenseman. I mean, this is a guy that you're comparing him to him is, but again, like Nate said, love the reference to comparing him to that, because that's high praise. And the thing is too, I compared him to Nick Lidstrom when we're doing the draft recap show, and
nice.
Again, Lidstrom is a guy that you probably shouldn't be throwing around comparisons to as well, because he's a one-of-a-kind guy as well. So, but, I mean, Edvinson's going to be a ridiculously good defenseman in the NHL. He's going to end up being an elite top-pairing defenseman. If he's going to be like Orr, he's going to be like Lidstrom. He's going to be like Edvinsson. So, so he's going to be a guy that people are going to compare him to. That comparison is going to be made later. So, but I mean, the Red Wings just have 2 ridiculously good defensemen coming up. It's exciting.
Well, if Edvinson's going to be anything like Orr, hopefully he photographs well too, because Bobby Orr is certainly with one of the most iconic photos in NHL history. And it was actually really cool when I stayed randomly across the street from the Garden in Boston a few years ago, and seeing that statue that they have up close and personal I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. Just super cool. So despite the fact of what the Bruins did to the Red Wings the other night, mad props. And Kaz Kilo Jackson, we love the comparison. We certainly hope it comes to fruition. So, all right, up next, Brandon Willis. Brandon, who you talking about, Willis? And I'm so sorry, Brandon, for not getting your name right last week. I apologize. It won't happen again. Appreciate you calling me out in the comments. And Brandon Willis is asking, should Joe Veleno be playing in the NHL to stay at this point? And I mean, I'll give a one-word answer. Yeah, absolutely. And I've been singing that since before the season started. So, Matthew, we'll start with you this time. Your perspective: should Joe Veleno be in the NHL to stay at this point?
Yes, and I saw him play against the Maple Leafs, and he was probably one of the better players on. And yeah, this guy can play. I mean, he's probably too much for the AHL now. He's got to develop in the NHL. Give him the minutes, give him the time, because I think he can develop into that, maybe not top 6 guy, but very good 3rd, 4th line, or I would say 3rd line right now, center. So I think, yes, definitely keep him in the NHL, because I think he's done all he can in the AHL at this point.
And boy, he announced his arrival to the NHL this season rather loud by scoring in his first game. So that was awesome. Yeah. Nate, your thoughts on Veleno? Should he be with the Wings from here on out?
Agreed. Yep, absolutely. By the way, Pat, all I could think of was Jensen, as you kept announcing the name over and over. I had to get one reference in there.
I just felt bad. I feel bad.
Nick Jensen,
I get names wrong all the time, and I don't know how, because I'm the one that copies them from the comments into my document here. So it's like the second time I've done that.
You have Dylan Devin over here.
I mean, it's true. It's true.
One of those things, Yeah, I mean, everything Matthew said, I agree with. I think the good thing was watching him come up, get that goal. I mean, Toronto was struggling, obviously, and it didn't go the way we wanted. But to see Joe Veleno come up and have that time, he's another one, too, where if Larkin is out for a little bit longer, you have to figure Blashill is going to be experimenting with that top line. You have to throw him up there. I mean, he got exceptional status. I mean, again, I think the biggest thing, and scouts have talked about this when he was drafted, they think he has the package, but can he put the puck in the net? And that really was it. He did in juniors that his last year, but then he struggled in the AHL, but he figured it out. He didn't really have a chance to struggle in the NHL because they were pretty careful with him, and I think they shielded him. So, yeah, he absolutely should be there. They're really, at this point, there's nothing else to prove. The only reason is he's exempt from waivers. That's the only reason I can see him going back down to protect a guy like Giovanni Smith, who you expose him, but, you just don't know. So, yeah, he should stay.
Devin, you got the last word on this one. Joey V, should he stay?
Mr. Poison himself. I look back to a month ago, like right before the season started, when we talked about whether Veleno or Raymond should stay on the team. And you, me, and Kyle, Pat, were all like, keep Veleno on this team because he has nothing left to learn in the AHL. I don't think that's changed.
Yeah.
The only reason why, I can kind of get behind him in the AHL is because he plays 18 to 20 minutes on the top line in Grand Rapids.
Right.
But I'd rather him play 14 to 16 minutes in the NHL because he's going to learn more and he's going to actually start to realize his potential.
Yeah.
Another reason why, going back a couple questions ago, why I said it might be time to shift Suter over to the wing is because I do believe that Veleno is a center at the NHL, and I think that's where his potential ultimately lies. But as it stands right now, they've got Larkin and Suter and Rasmussen and Stevens. So they got to get Veleno in there somewhere. And I think that Suter's a guy that you can shift over to the wing and get Veleno those center minutes. Yep. So, long story short, keep him in the NHL.
Yeah, Veleno should stay. And on deck, in my humble opinion, my boy, Johnny B. Berggren. Can't wait to see him at the NHL level. I know I'm putting way too much stock into him, but I've come too far. I'm conducting this train.
Can I get a choo-choo?
Choo-choo. Ready to see this one leave the station. Yeah, what you got,
10
Nate?
seconds.
Yeah.
So you said that 3 people said that Veleno and not Raymond, it would be who was the fourth guy that said that Raymond should stay up? Who was it? Oh, I think it was me. Oh, interesting.
You need a
guys. I can't. I couldn't help myself.
You need a green hoodie.
It's the glasses.
Could you get a green? You need a hoodie. You need a green hoodie would be ideal.
I need the laser eyes to just zap through the I'll just get a still of myself.
We've got one more viewer comment / question from our old friend Paradox Destroyer. Hi, Paradox. Paradox asks, should Blashill get credit for what was previously the team's hot start, which has cooled off? And, I love this question too, because flip side, does Blashill take the heat now for the slide that the Wings are on? And it's always tough. But at the end of the day, he's the head coach. So whether it's right or wrong, he's going to take the heat. He's going to get the credit. In my opinion, and that's just how it goes. And that's part of being a coach in the NHL. So Devin, we'll go to you. Your thoughts, how much is Blashill to credit or blame for how things have gone?
Back-to-back questions here. If you go back to a few episodes, I don't remember how long ago it was, but we were asked a similar question. If the Red Wings do good, how much is that? Is that the players or is it Blashill? And we kind of came to the conclusion that whether this team succeeds or fails, there's credit to go around all over, and that includes the coach. I do think that Blashill's adapted, given that he has different players and he's got a bit more skill that he at his disposal. I think this team's playing a lot looser than they were last season for sure. And at least in the first part of the season, that was or the first couple weeks, it was working. And yep. I do think that he deserves some credit. Now things aren't going so well, and I think that he needs to adapt. I think that his seat's hot because he's been here a long time and needs to start producing, but his seat's not on fire yet. I think there are coaches in worse situations than Jeff Blashill right now.
Absolutely. That last statement too, hands down, the truth. Nate, your thoughts on Blash? How much is he to blame? How much credit should he take for the good start?
So I agree a lot with Devin. I think the hard part with Blash is Like, and you know what? Maybe some of the lack of shots on goal too is he has adapted without Larkin and Bertuzzi in the lineup. They went right back into more of a shell.
Yeah,
They weren't taking as many chances up the ice. I don't remember if it was one of the games without them, but there was it was last night. It was the shorthanded goal. They took that chance and there they go. Right. And so right then that was it. He like puckered up after that. It was like, all right, we can't do that. And I like the adjustments. I don't think he has the horses yet, but I also agree his seat's warm because here's why. At some point, and I don't necessarily agree with it. You got to throw flesh out there to the
no doubt.
I personally, and I've been criticized for it. I don't care. I like Blashill. I don't think I've said it before, and I'll say it again. He didn't wake up in Detroit and suddenly stuck at coaching.
Right.
Yeah,
He's been successful everywhere he's gone. And it's not like he just, I don't know how to verbalize it, but it's more of, I saw the glimpses in that 2016 season when he took a team that was literally sputtering and backed into the playoffs and still made them competitive against a really good Tampa team. I mean, everybody forgets they tied the game in game 4. Nyquist scored that goal where the play sounded like a bomb went off. I think they lost that game 3-2 late in the third period. You win that game, that series is tied. They should have won in 15, but I won't get on that soapbox. I don't think until you have absolute utter talent where then he can't figure it out, fine. Then I've seen it.
Yeah.
But again, I think he put Rasmussen on the first line to see what would happen. Okay, well, probably what we all thought would happen. And I also think, and I tweeted this so I thought it was always George Malik, but then when I heard him, it was George Malik. So if I'm getting it wrong, I apologize.
Oh, really? It's not Malik?
Yeah, I don't know. They said
Malik. I mean, I've only ever read
conference.
it. I've only ever read it. Anyway.
So if it's Malik, I apologize for yeah, I know, right?
I apologize for pronouncing your name wrong in my head for the last 10 years.
Yeah. Right. And he's probably just chuckling if he's watching.
If he's watching the show, holy cow, come on.
That's pretty.
But anyway,
that would be a good one. He's got to wear a hat though, but he always wears a hat. He said something along the lines of, I don't think we've seen a lot of something about the tweets. And I tweeted back and just said, hey, I don't think we're done seeing Yzerman shuffle some of the Holland guys out still. I think right now they're kind of still figuring out who works and who doesn't.
Yep. Agreed.
And somebody, a Zadina or a Rasmussen or even a Veleno, I don't know. That wheel's going to stop. That carousel is going to stop. I've talked too long. I apologize. So it's the Blashill. It's such a good question because it's so intriguing in terms of the way you can go with it.
You know, my favorite part about Blashill, was that he made the transition from Babcock so easy because he sounded exactly like him. So I could close my eyes and still pretend that the Wings might have a shot at the final. Matthew, you've got the final word, my friend. Your thoughts on Jeff Blashill, and is he to blame or is he to take all the credit for a good start?
I mean, Nate and Devin just hit on all this stuff. Like the coach is going to always be blamed for losses, and he'll be the guy that everyone will be like, he did a great job when the team wins. It's like, he make a weird line change and, it doesn't work. Oh, it's horrible. But if it did, I was like, he's a genius. He knew it all along. It happens so much. And I think I agree with Nate I think he still deserves some time. To have some more, these skilled guys to be in the lineup and get that experience, because I think he can coach a skilled team. And, all the years in with Travis Green now and, Vigneault and all them, it was the same type of thing. When they got the skill, they were able to deal with it and actually make a really good team. So I think give him some time. And right now, I think the beginning of the season, I think he deserves some credit for that hot start.
Sure.
And we'll see if the Red Wings can move out of this and break out of this losing streak and not go on a slide. But I think he deserves some more time to figure it out.
Yeah, and I think he's going to get it, right? I think Yzerman has shown time and time again that he doesn't listen to the outside chatter, especially when it comes to the job security of the head coach. I'm pretty sure they've sat down and had a talk, and maybe not applicable to this season, but at least previous years where it's been, look, you make sure that these players we're trying to develop. I don't care what the final score is of any game.
Yeah.
No proof that conversation actually happened, but I feel like it had to, because Blash never presented himself like he felt like he was on the hot seat.
Yeah.
He was always open, always addressed the media, and Yzerman, on the flip side of that, never blinked whenever anybody ever asked him about Blashill's job security. So
look at Suter and Raymond though too.
Yeah, right. Talk about developing. Yeah,
I mean, that's he's smart enough to know what Suter can and can't do. He's giving him the minutes. It's not he doesn't like young players. No, now he's got 2 all-world players.
Yeah.
Now he's utilizing them, and he's utilizing them well.
Yeah.
So
all I could think of.
All
I could think of in the Boston game, what is it, yesterday, whenever it was, I think it was Marchand who had a head of steam coming in, and Suter was chasing after him, and Suter he wasn't able to catch up, but he played the body enough to knock Marchand off the puck. And all I could think when I saw that is, man, last year that would have been a goal. Last year, Marchand would have been off to the races, and that would have been a goal. So to your point, he's coaching well. I would say he's coaching well right now.
If there's one thing that I want to give the ultimate props to Jeff Blashill for, at least in the early going this season, it's that this talking point, arguing point, whatever, that Blashill likes the veterans. You can't make that argument anymore. Is on the top line. Or Suter's leading the team in ice time at this point. Like if he likes the veterans, he's not showing it. And the kids are playing well too at that point too.
Absolutely. So good stuff. I do have to say one more thing. If you guys are watching Rockets 2965 and Soap Dish 999, hug it out. Would you hug it out? We appreciate your passion. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate your perspective. Thank you both for watching. All joking aside, thank you both for watching. But hug it out. We're all hockey fans here. So, all right, and that is our show. We'd like to thank you for joining us. Give us a like, subscribe, comment, share. We would love to hear from you. Tweet us at THW Grindline. We'll answer your tweet or your comment on our very next show. Thanks again. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.